Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. I was expecting to have the winter campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game, on the channel for the next few weeks, but we ended up wrapping that campaign early due to trauma. As such, we're working on some backup content. Our first week of backup content will be a revisit to the Warfighter world as we play Warfighter Modern Daytime from DVG. We have control of a squadron of soldiers that we're going to take into a scenario. And first up, let's go ahead and set that mission up now. We've got our mission and our objective. We're catching a little bit of one of our soldiers here, but I'll go through that when we come down to the soldiers. First up for our mission, as you can see, we're playing a Middle East mission today. We've got in and out as our plan. We have resources total of 41, mission time of 11. Objective is located at number 5. And loadout is modified by -0. So we've got our full loadout. Our soldiers are all set. And our objective is an insurgent chieftain. It's got an entrance cost of 5, but we probably won't be working with that. It's a structure, which some other cards will reference. We need to kill the chieftain with a defeat cover of 6, and we need to inflict 3 kills. Hostiles screen the chieftain. So as far as anything being screened, think of it like a human shield when you've got something screening. Basically, anything else in the location will shield the chieftain from us being able to target him. So that's our mission setup. Now let's go through our soldiers. My original plan was to have a mix of Israeli and US soldiers on this mission, but the low resource budget that we had to work with for this one, combined with the quick objective, made me want to go just Israeli soldiers today, so that's what we're going to go with. Our main soldier, we've got 2 player soldiers today. First up, we've got Edel, who cost 13 resource points by herself. Health of 5, loadout 8, and hand-to-hand +1. She comes with Agile and Never Again, which Agile will add +1 to her movement value of 4, so that will make her a 5, which theoretically means we shouldn't be discarding too many cards to have to pay for movement costs, and she comes with the skill of Never Again, only for Israeli soldiers. Once per mission, you may either discard an event card after viewing it, or remove the collateral damage keyword from one location, but not the objective. As far as what we selected to load her up with, once again, we didn't have a lot of resource points to play around with, so I kind of went light on what I was packing today. We've got a TAR-21 rifle, which is a resource cost of 3, loadout of 2. So the 3 comes out of our resource budget, the 2 comes out of her loadout. As far as the specifics of the weapon, we can use this at range 0 or 1. Both of them reload on a 1. Range 0 kills with a 5, and range 1 kills with a 9. We can use either semi or auto with this weapon. Semi, we roll 1 die. Auto, we roll 3 dice. And then we've got our 5.56 ammo with it. Then we also equipped the TAR-21 rifle with a red dot sight. It's a rifle, carbine, SMG, machine gun approach, and of course the TAR-21 is a rifle. Cost 2 out of our resource budget, 1 on loadout. We add 1 to the weapon's defeat cover rolls, limit 1 per weapon. The defeat cover, as you might recall, is the D6 roll. So the number of dice, let me get the dice out here. So for each attack, we'll be rolling the D6, which is our defeat cover die. And some number of our D10s. I've got 3 right here in case I end up wanting to declare an auto attack. The thing to be aware of, though, is if any of the auto attacks hit the reload number, then nothing happens. So we do need to be very careful of that. But that's it for Edel, who will also be doing everything on soldier number 1. So let's move over to her partner today. Edel's partner today is Eisenberg. We'll bring him up as well. He's got a health of 6, loadout of 12. hand-to-hand +0, but we're not equipping him with anything. Range of 2, or movement of 2, cover of 1. And that's actually the same for Edel on the cover, but she's got a move of 4 +1 because of Agile is 5. He comes with 5 experience, which we can use to upgun if we have to. And that's what the spin down is going to represent. He'll do everything on cover on 2. He comes, well, we loaded him up with the Dan rifle, which is a sniper rifle. Cost of 6 off of our resource points, 5 off his loadout. Oh, we got a prerequisite of... Oh, we do have marksman. Never mind. Okay, so we did pick... Okay, so yeah. He can use this from up to range 2, but he'll need to deploy a bipod for that. At a range 0, he reloads on a 1 and kills on a 10. At 2, he hits on a 1, kills on a 6. At range 2, and we'll have to deploy a bipod for that, which I've got another ammo clip for that, since I don't have the bipod token in this copy of the game. Reloads on 1, kills on at least a 4. Prerequisite marksman, which he has, and we'll go through that in a second. And penetration 1, which means we'll be adding 1 automatically to... to the defeat cover die. We've got 4. It's supposed to be 858 ammo, but I don't have that either. So we've got 4 556 ammo to represent that. It'll amount to the same thing. And then I'm using an empty clip. The clip, this one will be the bipod token. This one, actually, let me grab a different ammo token. That's going to confuse me and nothing flat. And actually, I need to get the action markers out as well. So I'll get those into another cup here. One, two, 1, 2. All right, so we'll use the shotgun ammo. We'll use a shotgun ammo token to mark the bipod. Empty when it hasn't been deployed, and full when it has been. So we'll have to deploy the bipod to use that at range 2. We'll deploy the bipod. I believe that says an action to deploy that. Yes, it'll be as an action to deploy the bipod. So that's both of our soldiers set up. Let's move back up top to check everything out for the final shot. I think everything looks good here. I'm going to start off by looking at the hand for Edel, seeing if we've got any... Okay, I did want to talk about... I was hoping this would come up, so I want to talk a little bit about this specific copy of the game. So this copy of the game in particular is first edition, which has the locations mixed in with the action deck. Normally this wouldn't be problematic, except for the fact that the location backs are different with later content. I picked up some expansions, and some of them did have action cards with locations in them. The backs are different. So what I did, actually I'm doing a couple things to combat that. First, I'm sleeving everything for the action deck in blue, which will include the locations as well, so I can't tell the difference. And I've mixed in... What I'm doing here is I've got a jungle location here, which I'm using as a location marker for the Middle East. So I'll put that off to the side, and then we'll draw a Middle East location. I'm going to move that up there. So the location that Edel has in her hand is an impending IED. Reinforced 0 to 2, entrance cost 3. It's a location. Free to play, it's a structure, but we have to roll at the end of each turn. On a 3 and under, kill everything in the location. 4+, no effect. And it'll come with no hostiles, so we need to be very careful about that. As in get through that pronto. So we want to be able, ideally we want to play that and get through it. Which fortunately with 41 points on resource, will have no hostiles coming into it. So that's ideally going to be a play. Basically play, have another location ready to go. And that's a free to play, so that's very helpful there. But we can only play, I believe it's 1 location per soldier per turn. Let me just double check that. That's the bad board that I replaced, so that's definitely not one I want. Let's see, Warfighter. Probably Is it under movement? Only one new location card can be placed during each soldier turn. So we would have to bite the bullet and we'd have to bite the bullet and spend a turn there. But it might be worth trying to make sure we have a new location ready to play the next turn. So, looking at all of these. Okay. Then we'll take a look at Eisenberg's hand. He also has a location, so that'll take care of our problem of needing to have another location ready to play. So for our next location, Urban Combat Zone, structure, collateral damage. With a 41 point, it's only an entrance cost of 1, so this is actually not a bad location, but it's a reinforce on a 0 to 2. The impending IED is also a reinforce on a 0 to 2. So we're going to need to get through that pronto. Structure, collateral damage. So we could use Never Again to remove the collateral damage from the location. Let me see what collateral damage does. Collateral damage can't use explosion, spray, auto, or proximity attacks in the locations. That means that we can't use the TAR-21's auto attack. So that's something to keep in mind there. But I think we're all set to get into this game. So let's move into turn 1. Since it's free to play, Edel will start us off by playing Impending IED. It is a free to play, so we don't need to worry about that this turn. Or we don't need to worry about using an action for that. We will have to worry about rolling at the end of each turn for the... We'll have to worry about rolling at the end of each turn. So I believe that's at the end of... I believe that's at the end of the soldier turn and then at the end of the hostile turn again. At least that's... I want to see if there's a clear explanation on how this game defines turn. Because if they're defining turn as the end of the... Because if they're defining turn as the end... No, okay, so they must be referring to the mission turn. Okay, so yeah, it looks like they are defining a turn as a mission turn. So just so we're clear on that. So action 1, Edo will move into the impending IED. I know we're taking a risk there, but in order to keep this moving, I think we have to. Fortunately, we don't spawn any hostiles there for an initial spawn. Then for action 2, I think we're just going to discard... We're going to discard 2 cards and draw 4. Draw back up to our hand size. We'll actually draw 3, which is 5. 1, 2, 3. See if we get another location. We do get another location, so that's giving us more options. So our next possible location is the Citadel. Entrance cost 3. Reinforce 0 to 2. 1 action to play. Structure. And subtract 4 from the next location's hostile value. Wow. We would spawn 4 points worth of hostiles there at the next location. So that's it for Edel. For action 1, that's only that's an entrance cost of 3, which Edel didn't need to pay anything for. So... Okay, so Eisenberg... Any soldiers? So we probably should have played that first. Actually, we wouldn't be able to play advance anyway because Edel would have had to spend experience to upgun that, and she couldn't. So I think we'll discard... Actually, I think we'll discard... So it's a 2... We'll discard a stealth attack since it's got a stealth keyword. We'd have to discard an extra card to use that. We'll discard that to move into the impending IED. I was going to grab something to mark the... Actually, I can probably just use a pencil for now. So we'll mark it like that. mostly so I know where I'm at in the turn. So I'm in the soldier turn right now for action 1. Action 2, I think he's going to discard 1 and draw 2. See if that's drawing back up to hand size. Discard and draw. See if we get any location markers. We do not, but that's fine there. All right, so that's it for the soldier turn. Now we move into the hostile turn. So first we have the reinforcement draw from the insurgent deck. If it's a reinforcement, if it's a value 0 to 2, it goes into play. So our first card is Gunman, which with the value of 1, they can go into play. 2 reticles that we'll have to kill here. If they have both visible when they attack, they'll 3- is a miss, 4 to 7 is a wound, 8+ is 2 wounds. With 1, 5 and under is a miss, 6 to 8 is a wound, 9+ is 2. So that's at our location. Now we need to see who they're targeting. Number 2, so they're going after Eisenberg. All right, next they will attack, and that's a range 1 attack, which I believe means it would say 0 to 1 if it was a... It would say range 0 to 1 if they were intended to be able to attack in the same location. So that's what we're going to go with there. All right. 16. Result there in range of their targeted soldiers. So yeah, I believe it. If it says, I believe it would intend. It would intend if it would say range 0. It would say range 0 to 1 if they were in range of the attack. Somebody will probably correct me in the comments down below. But I'm going to rule that without the range 0 on the location, they don't attack. So in order to get to where they can attack, I'm going to move some of this out of the way. Actually, I don't want to move too much out of the way. So the gunmen are going to move to the mission location. I know it's a little bit weird to see, but the gunmen are basically at the mission location right now. So that's closing range. We would remove suppressed counters, except nobody's suppressed, and then advance the mission timer. Actually, I wonder if they move back to the objective. I don't know if they do or not. So we're actually going to advance the mission timer, but since we're in the impending IED, we do need to roll for the effect there. So remember, a 3- is going to kill all in the location, and a 4+ has no effect. A 9, so we're all clear there, which is fortunate because now we can at least get out of here. So we've advanced the mission timer, which means now we're into round 2. So our first order of business is to get away from this impending IED. I think this time Eisenberg is going to lead us off with a free-to-play location. So we're going to play the Urban Combat Zone. It's another free-to-play structure collateral damage. Entrance cost of 1, reinforces on a 0 to 2. With 44 points of hostiles, with 41 resource points, we'll have to draw 3 points worth of hostiles. So our first hostile card is another gunman at 1. Next up, Stalker at 1. That'll attack at range 0. When drawn, place in the rearmost soldier's location. So that's 2, and Insurgents with 3. That's going to blow us over the top. +2, +1, or +0 entrance cost. Yikes. From range 1, so we're probably going to try to move in on these guys as well. With 4 that need to be covered. Yowza. +2, +1, or +0 entrance cost. So that's a 3. That's actually not that obnoxious. So let's see who the gunmen are targeting. I've got my targeting kits in a small cup here. They're going after Edel, the Stalker, is also going after Edel. And the insurgents are also going after Edel. Yikes. That seems, now that I'm thinking about it, that seems a little weird. I'm going to take a quick look, though. Attack range. My instincts are telling me that I'm handling handling the range attack wrong, or maybe it's supposed to be 0 to 1. But I feel like given the reinforced ranges, it would probably specify if they were meant to be at range. I feel like it'd say range 0 to 1 if they're able to attack. If they were meant to attack at that range. So I think I'm just going to... Nope, okay, wait. Yes, one location away. So I'm guessing it's going to be handled the same way. So I'm not going to back up and re-roll it, but this gunman should have been able to attack Eisenberg last turn, but I'm not going to run that far back. So, with that in mind, I think Eisenberg for action 1 is going to take a semi-shot at the... He's going to take a semi-automatic shot with his rifle at the insurgents to see if we can knock some of that, to try to knock that cost down a little bit. So he only gets the 1 die. He'll roll a d10 for the attack roll and a d6 on cover. Their cover is a 3, and he's got penetration 1. So he's a +1 because of marksman as well. That's a 9, which is a 10, and a 6 is enough to defeat his cover. So Eisenberg will inflict a kill on the insurgents, and then for action 2, he's got to pay 3 to get in there. So he'll discard. Actually, he's going to use a snapshot to perform another attack before he does that. So he can perform an attack without spending an action, which he will do. That's a 7, which +1 is an 8, and a 3 + 1 is 4 is enough to defeat their cover, so we'll inflict another kill on the insurgents, which means now it's only a +1 on the entrance cost, which 1 + 1 is 2, so he can actually pay that naturally, which he will do to move into the urban combat zone, and that will do it for Eisenberg. As for Edel... Edel for action 1 is going to move into the urban combat zone. And then action 2, she's going to attack the insurgents targeting her. Actually, now that we've got 2, let's go after the gunman. And we have to use a semi-attack because of the collateral damage keyword. We can't use an auto attack. We got a +1 on our defeat cover. That's a 1, which is not a reload, and a 2 + 1 is 3 is enough to defeat the gunman's cover. So they will take a suppress. Alright, and then that is both of Edel's actions. Into the hostile turn, we have a reinforcement draw for the urban combat zone. They reinforce on a 0 to 2. So let's see what we draw from the insurgent hostile deck. That's another gunman, which can join the party. We'll see who they're targeting. They're going after Eisenberg. What fun. All right, now we go through hostile attacks. Okay, so the stalker, so moving from left to right, the gunman can't attack anybody because they're not in range of Eisenberg. The stalker also can't attack because he's not in the same location as Edel. The gunmen, however, are in range of Edel, so they can attack her. Unfortunately, she's got a 1 to defeat her cover, so she's going to be getting suppressed here. Hopefully not a kill, though. Hopefully not a hit, which with 1 covered would need a 6 to an 8 on the D10. That's a 2, which is a miss, but the 3 would defeat her cover, so Edel will end up being suppressed. And I think now we're going to start running into problems where that low cover is going to cause us a lot of headaches. The insurgents are going to be attacking Edel as well with 2 reticles covered. Alright, that's a 4, which is a miss, but the 1 is still enough to defeat her cover. Probably should have done more to increase her cover on this one. Then the gunman going after Eisenberg. A 5 is enough to deal a wound, and the 3 defeats his cover, so he's got a wound on him, which makes our discard and draw a little bit weaker. Okay, close range, which means the gunman will move into the impending IED. The stalker will move into the urban combat zone. Then we'll remove the suppress counter from the gunman. Advance the mission timer, and we'll roll for the impending IED to see if the gunmen get taken out that are targeting Eisenberg. Oop. That's a 1, so that will kill everything in there, which means the gunmen are defeated, which means the gunmen are killed. That goes back in the cup. We're into turn 3 now, and I think we're going to start running into problems here, as now, thanks to us getting suppressed earlier, thanks to us getting suppressed now, I think we're going to start to get swarmed here. I'll flip over the action counters because that's a useful thing to do. Edel's turn is unfortunately going to be very short. She's going to be removing her 2 suppresses, which means we're relying primarily on Eisenberg to try to get us out of this mess. He might have to take a risk and move back to the impending IED, but I don't think I like that idea at all. Unless I can get a location into play, which might be worth trying to do. See if I can get away from this mess. Try to set him up at range. So I think we're going to discard 3 cards and draw 4. I want to see if I can get a new location. Preferably a free-to-play that doesn't come with a lot of hostiles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's his first action. And we do pull a location, which is something. So our next possible location is an open field. Yikes. No reinforcement. Entrance cost 2. 1 action to play, but we add 5 to the next location's hostile value, which seems gross. 41 would put 4 hostiles in the location. Then that's an action to play. Yuck. And the next locations are objective. I think we need to try to attack, even with the range being very much in peril. I think we're going to go after the gunman targeting Edel. We'll see how this goes. Prediction is not well. 3 plus 1 is 4. Is not enough to hit by a country mile. But a 4 will defeat their cover, so that's something. So that will inflict a suppress on them. But that will do it for our soldier turn. Next up, we've got reinforcement draw. So a 0 to 2 means we'll have another enemy joining the party, and I think our problems are just going to start multiplying. That's an yikes. That's an RPG team. Gross. That's a value of 2, so that's plenty. 2 reticles. Screened by gunmen, which is a huge problem right now. With 2 uncovered at a range 2. 1 or less, a roll of 1 is a malfunction. 2 to 3 is a miss. 4 to 7 is 2 wounds to all. 8 plus is 4 wounds. We'll talk about the 1 reticle roll when it comes out. Let's see who the RPG team is targeting. They're going after Eisenberg, which I kind of figured they would be with 3 hostiles already going after Edel. So now we're into attack. The gunmen are targeting Edel with 1 reticle covered, so they need at least a 6 to inflict a wound. They get a 5, which is just barely a miss, but the 2 will defeat her cover. So yeah, we're very much starting to get we're starting to get swarmed here in nothing flat. The insurgents are going after Edel with 2 uncovered. They need at least a 7 to inflict a wound. That's a 9 and a 5 will make a mess of her cover, so she'll take a wound. Then the gunmen going after Eisenberg with 2 uncovered. They need at least a 4 to inflict a wound. Which a 5 and a 5 will defeat his cover for another wound. The Stalker going after Eisenberg, going after Edel. A 4 plus would inflict 2 wounds, which is going to be a big problem. That's a 2, which thankfully is a miss, but the 3 on the d6 will be enough to defeat her cover. I wish we had a way... Oh, we do have a way we can somewhat shake that off. Then the RPG team going after Eisenberg, which a 4 is going to be very problematic. An 8 would be a hit, and yikes! Okay, strike that. An 8 just deals him 4 wounds, which means Eisenberg has been downed. Yowza. Well, I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm just going to pull those out. We're just going to pull the action markers out, so everything is going after Edel at this point. I'm not going to bother even pulling anything out of the cup at this point. So, now we've got a huge problem on our hands. So everything's in range of her. We remove suppress counters, advance the mission timer, which will turn into round 4, but I think this is probably our last round of the mission. Oh, and the gunmen lose their suppress. I think, honestly, this is probably our last turn of the mission anyway, but let's find out. Well, in order to help us out a little bit, we'll play a Shake It Off. So I can discard a suppress counter, which means I can actually do something this turn. Action 1, I'll discard the other suppress counter. And action 2, I'm going to use Camouflage, discarding an advance with a stealth cost. I'm declaring a semi-attack on the RPG team. I'm going to treat a screened target as being unscreened for this. That's actually a pretty bad idea. No, I think we're just going to attack the... Yeah, I think we are going to do that. Discarding, I think we said camouflage, discarding a rapid fire as well. So we'll treat the RPG team as being unscreened. Odds are I'm not taking anything down with me, but this is just, at this point, this is just for pride. Let's see, that's a 3 on the attack, which won't touch him in terms of a wound, but a 3 plus 1 from the red dot side is a 4, is enough to defeat his cover. So he takes a suppress, which is, and honestly at this point it's probably just nothing. That's it for soldier turn. Reinforcement draw. So a 0 to 2 once again in the urban combat zone. We will draw. That's a 0, so yep, they join the party. And gee, I wonder who they're going after. Our only soldier left. So the gunmen are up first. They're of course targeting Edel. At least a 4 to deal a wound. That's a 10 with a 3 to defeat cover. So they're actually dealing 2 wounds. Yeah, I think our mission is just about over here. Alright, the insurgents going after Edel with 2 reticles uncovered. A 7, at least another 7 would be catastrophic. That's a 10 with a 4 to defeat cover. Is just going to down Edel, and that will end our mission. Yowza. So both of our soldiers have been downed, and the mission is over. For, I believe there's a little bit of RPG flavor in here. For medevac, let me just double check that. Here we go. All right, so for player interest, on a D10, we don't get any. Let's see if you're playing. Okay, so roll a D10. So Edel, first up. Actually, we can roll black for Edel, red for Eisenberg, to determine each of their statuses. And we don't have any modifiers on this roll. Alright, black was for Edel. She's able to return to duty. Eisenberg, however, is KIA. Yowza. That will do it, though, for this playthrough of Warfighter Modern. Busy week coming up on the channel. Tuesday we're playing Twilight Inscription. So Wednesday can have the end of January recap. And Saturday we'll be starting our new Mystical Munchies cookbook with the appetizer. Next week we're going to start going on a little bit of a sports kick as we debut Season Ticket Baseball. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.